How y'all going out there today, man? Yes, X is gone, man. X is gone, but he'll never be forgotten, bro. X will never be forgotten. Truth of the matter is, I've been through this situation. So unfortunately, I went through this situation that he wasn't going to recover brain activity and function. People prayed for a miracle, and that's what you were really praying for, was a miracle to happen. But you know, it is what it is. At this point, he was somebody who was fighting to beat his demons, but he couldn't. It's just like his demons took so much toll on him. And you see most of these entertainers and stuff, they burn out and they don't even get past 50. He was only 50, dog. It's a funny thing you say that, man. X never liked that song, John. He never liked Stop, Drop, the Rough Rider anthem. Hated it. Hated the Rough Rider anthem. X hated that anthem until it became one of the biggest songs in the world. I told you, don't get your hopes up too high. What people do in this is to get their things in order. You have to get, when you're someone of X caliber, you're going to have a lot of things to deal with. That's going to be overwhelming for you. There was a lot of things that happened that I wasn't happy about. No, Bryson, I'm not slipping on the news. I just wasn't eager to be number one to talk about this. X is somebody that I've seen before. You know what I'm saying? Like X wasn't a superstar like that. He wasn't a superstar. He was somebody, a product of the streets, and would go to the streets. So when I got to a point where I could sit down and talk about it, even though I knew he was already gone, like days ago, we knew X was and what the family was doing, but you wanted to keep hope. We wanted to keep hope with him. Meaning that his brain function hasn't changed. It's a lot of missing pieces, but I just remember his impact on hip hop. When everybody was looking for the next thing or the next wave, and everybody was trying to be Tupac, X was the only one who barked back at that. He wasn't a fan of Tupac, not at all. He was bitter, and he represented the streets and how most of the people in the streets felt about Tupac. When he did his hit him up and everything, because he was like, this dude spitting against New York, and so his attitude was F him. He come from Yonkers. They wow. So this was the way they felt, their sentiments towards him. So he represented a whole different energy than how entertainers and all them people felt. He represented a hardcoreness. So when he had original songs and stuff done, he had some disses in there for Tupac because X had been out for a long time. But once he got in the industry, he realized, like what the situation was because he didn't like Biggie either. I mean, he met Biggie. He was like, "This dude's the king of New York, smiling." And X is like, "Man, like it's nothing wrong with smiling." But he's like, "Where I'm from, we didn't smile. Smile was a sign like you soft." Because he was really thinking Biggie was that guy until he saw him smile. He's like, he smiled. And then I looked at him, and then he fixed his grill back up, like, right back, ice grilling. And that like broke his heart that day. But then he's like, man, I got older and I realized how stupid that was. Because it's the New York mentality. It was the mentality of where he grew up. Like if you smile, you soft. And once he seen Biggie, that's why Big was always serious and all this stuff. The only time you saw Biggie smile is when he did the Hypnotize video. To show people it's cool to smile every now and then if you want. But New York, it's a mentality that is trained and you don't smile. As Honey asked why I don't smile. I'm in the New York state of mind. But then he realized how much nonsense that was once he was in the industry. He's like, you could be the king of New York and smile all. It's like, it's dumb for me to even think like that. He had grew up. Not everybody's perfect. Not everybody did everything the right ways in their life. But people's like, man, he wasn't there for his kids. How was his kids? You don't know if that man wasn't there for his kids. I mean, I'm quite sure there was some things he missed because of his conditioning. I mean, his sickness. But don't say the man wasn't there for his kids and his kids shouldn't have shown up at the hospital. I mean, who are you to say something like that? That's very disrespectful. Extremely disrespectful. Oh yeah, hit the like button for X. That's right, baby. Hit the like button for X. One last time. X, that was a good statement you just made. He did fill a void because Tupac had just died like about a year ago, a year or two ago, when they were working on the album. And record companies were looking for that new energy. Tupac had his own energy, and no rappers out there had that kind of energy. Everybody who was at the top of the game at that time, they were laid back rappers. You had Nas out there, they were trying to make Jay-Z the man at that time, but he's laid back. Nas is laid back. There's no real energy of the streets out there. None. So the only thing DMX and Tupac had in common was the energy level. Their energy level was incredible. They could go for days just rhyming, and could nobody tell them nothing. Nobody could say nothing. They were just incredible, man. Energy. But what you guys didn't know, or some of you did, who really love X, I'll be back. X, man, that's something else. His energy level is incredible. Most people need certain vices to be great. So a lot of people attributed the drugs to X's energy, and that isn't true. X had energy way before that. One of the girls I used to sleep with slept with DMX right downtown. And X checked her ID. But here's the thing about DMX. DMX did a concert and he went on stage on his first album, It's Dark and Hell is Hot. He had on overalls. He had on no shirt. All he had on was drawers under the underarms. That's it. He put on some Timberlands with no socks. He went out there and ripped the place down. What he had that Tupac didn't have is memory recall. He had it better than Pac. DMX could stand right in front of you and run through his whole album right off his dome. You play the beat, he could start rhyming the damn song. Do you know how many songs DMX have? He has a lot of records. DMX outperformed rock bands. Do you know no rapper really ever did that? Ever? Run DMC was the only ones to come close to doing that. DMX brought out black people were breaking their necks trying to ride motorcycles. I'm gonna join this biker gang, baby. Hold on, let me get my leg over this bike. Oh, they were all trying to join biker gangs in their 40s. They were looking like the movie Old Hogs with Martin Lawrence. They didn't even have motorcycles. They had on the vest, live, ride or die, Rough Riders. And then they go and then they just go and get into the then go and get into the oh yeah, I call it Old Hogs because that was just it. So then they go and they get into their little Honda. or whatever. Only one dude got in a minivan. I'm like, dog, how you gonna wear a ride or die vest, some jeans on, and some boots like you just got off a motorcycle and jumped right into a doggone minivan? I gotta pick the kids up, but I'll be riding. And I do must say this, man. The media's coverage of this has been disgusting. Like people will say, "Oh man, y'all all trying to profit off X. Y'all just trying to get rich off DMX." That's not true, man. Come on, stop it. Some of them are, and they're your mainstream media. Anybody who using DMX in hospital picture when he's throwing up the sign like this saying he's okay to talk about DMX in the hospital now is tacky, classless. It's tacky. It's classless. I know. Giving people false hope. He's off life support and he's breathing on his own. All this stuff that they were doing, it was ridiculous. That's just low down playing off the people's pain. Oh, there's tons of stories. We never had a rapper with that kind of energy. Pac was the only one. Oh, Burundi beat me to it. Thanks, Burundi, because I was just about to do it. Swiss made the biggest song of the album, but all the other songs on the album were done by PK and who was that? Dame, I think. I think Dame Grease. They the ones that really made that album. But Swiss ended up getting all the credit for it. And that led to, yeah, and that ended up causing a whole lot of friction. Well, DMX sold 5 million records. And here's something you guys don't know about. He never rapped about selling drugs because he didn't sell drugs. Well, if he saved your life, then you owe him your life by being a representative, and don't take your life for granted. Honor someone reaching out. Wrong. Puffy never saw the value in DMX. Because the thing is, he had Black Rob. Because at the last minute, Puffy realized what DMX was and was finna put DMX and offered more money than what he signed with Def Jam. He was like, don't do it, sign with me. And X was like, F you, you said no to me. And so Puff, there was no way Puff was getting that. Just too street. And if you sold him no, and he had nothing in the way he came on that money, power, respect, and he blazed it and brought the energy to that record. And the way he hit that money, power, respect. He brought a lot of energy to the table. Puffy didn't want to sign him because he had already signed Black Rob and was like, we got our street guy already, Black Rob. He said, we got the locks, they from Yonkers, but they can do other things. Like they can make the fluffy song and be in shiny suits. I can't put DMX in those shiny suits. That's not gonna work. I can't go to X and can you imagine Puff trying to get X? X, look, instead of that dog collar, I was thinking like we got this herringbone, like this big Jesus cross we put on there, right? And then it's for the video. I ain't wearing that. You know, it went a wrong way. Reed Wilson, put him on the stage. Okay, you didn't have to delete him. I mean, you didn't have, okay, you're going a little too far there. Dude said Black Rob could spit. You just not a hip hop head. That was no reason to hold him, Sledge. You're getting a little too trigger happy. But we never stated Black Rob couldn't spit. But the song Whoa, that beat was going to DMX. I liked Rob. For a 16, I just didn't think Rob could hold down an album. Life Story was hard. But those beats were going to go to DMX. Do you know what X would have did to Whoa? X was deep with thought. He wasn't really making simple rhymes. But once he heard the energy and heard all this buzz around DMX, he knew right away he messed up. So Puff tried to outbid Def Jam. After Def Jam agreed to give him a deal, X stayed loyal. I'm thankful X gave us classic albums, man. Everybody talk about Jay-Z turned everything around, and that just wasn't true. DMX came out and changed everything. Like back to the East, heavy. So he really brought the East back because it was West Coast crazy. Remember, Pac had just passed, and they mean everything jumped back to the East. You know, people were still dealing with the West Coast. Pac still had the Machiavelli album out and Machiavelli tapes. So the West Coast was being heard. But when X them came out, it was like, it was a whole different movement because he was representing an energy that nobody could deal with. DMX dropped about 4 to 5 classic albums in a row. DMX dropped 5 classic albums in a row. 5. It's dark, hell is hot. We already know that. Flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood. Then there was X, Great Depression. And that last one, Grand Champ. This is dedicated to the streets. This is dedicated to. When the dogs is out, when the dogs is out. Man, I'm finna bump X. Oh, I don't care about my new neighbor's gonna be. I told you, there you go. I told you so. There he is. I told you. He was like the rest of them. You can't change them. Listen to that sound. They gonna just have to be mad. X was deep. That's the thing about him. He was deep. He was about the heart and everything. Jay cared about the money than he did rapping. Every album, Jay-Z was retiring. This is my last album. He did that since volume 1. Saying volume 2 gonna be his last album. And he would have quit if it didn't blow up. X came out and went like this, straight ahead. He came through the door, 5 million records sold. Then he did another 5 million, 4 million records sold. Then he did like Diamond. And then there was X. That thing is damn near Diamond. With his largest song to date, Stop, Drop, and Open Up Shop is up there. But his biggest song he ever made was basically a filler song, filler anthem song. Y'all gonna make me lose my mind. Up in there, up in there. Y'all gonna let me go all up in there, up in there. Meet me outside. That was always slipping. Party Up is his biggest record. And Party Up was never supposed to be that record. It's just like Stop, Drop, Make, Open Up Shop. The album was done. Swiss got in with that record. And X wasn't going to do the record. He was like, no, I'm not doing that. Something that's stupid. And then it's funny, on his biggest record that everybody is playing, I never forget it because it was played at every high school, every college for their basketball games, football games. Because of that beat, that energy. It was more like a let's get everybody crowd into it. Woo! Y'all gonna win. So the crowd be going crazy. One time, I will never forget it. It was on ESPN. It was some type of college game, high school game going on, man. And the DJ forgot to bring the radio version. And he played people did not realize how dirty and nasty that song was. The lyrics. Because all they did was the hook. That's all they cared about, the producers, the hook. They didn't care what X said. X said some of the wildest stuff ever in those lyrics. And he was dissing Ja Rule in the same song. Oh my goodness. You whack, you twisted, your girls are home. The kid ain't yours, and everybody know your old man said you stupid. You be like, so I love my baby mama, I never let her go. I just waited before it became world news, man. Nobody wanted somebody to go. Dude, everybody got stories on death row. You hear, dude, you hear about 50 million stories about death row. All you gotta do is walk the streets. If you was in LA, Vegas, anywhere around that time, everybody got stories about death row. Y'all act like that was a vault. You know how many people walking around with a death row story? About 50 million of them. Man, I got my ass beat in 662, man. They stomping and kicking me in the back of the head. I couldn't really tell who it was. Yeah, because all the real X fans is gonna show up here. Of course, a couple of idiots are gonna show up, but hey, that's what they do. I hope you guys signed up to that Casino for Life Patreon. I hope you guys on my Patreon because that was incredible, man. That shocked even me because I was like, why would they send me this? Did you see that? That was crazy. That came from YouTube. Like, why would they ask me something like that? And they asking just not just me, but a lot of us this. What's up, Coco the Don? Coco was one of my first Patreons. One of them. Yes, he did say that. Yeah, I dipped out, man. Went up there to the casino. I met a chick. Oh my goodness. I got to have it. I hope she calls. I pray she calls. I end up losing money. Didn't even care worrying about her. From Colombia, too. Oh my goodness. No, her backyard the size of a midget. Yeah, that was a great stream yard we did yesterday. What is one of DMX B records that nobody really talk about? That was like a classic DMX record. Man, there's so many. Dog, he didn't have any bad records. I used to love when he did the Damien joints. Everybody played that song. That was the anthem song that kicked it off on the second album. That was the intro to Blood of My Blood. Dun, 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 uh-huh. Ah, come on. Nah, you ain't no Patreon member. Stop lying. Effing with D. Yep. Stop being greedy. I know that's one of the ones I really didn't like, and they made the video for that one. The one when he was running through the house. Dun, dun, that beat was hard. Top 10. Dogs for Life, Let Me Fly. I think Do You is kind of hard. That's a hard record nobody really talk about. Ain't No Way is a classic, dog. That was popular. That wasn't no real B record. That was a oh man, what is on his own. Dun, 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 dun. Ain't no way you're gonna stop my flow. Ain't no way you're gonna stop my shine. You nigga love me out the mother in my I love it. I love it. Slipping, falling. Got to get up. That's what did it for Mobb Deep. And that was the only reason Mobb Deep and DMX had the friction or what it would be like because Prodigy felt like, dude, I'm the streets. Where this dude come from? Mob, we the one been holding the streets down. We've been holding this whole street thing down, and who's this dude just come out of nowhere and just get sell 4-5 million records? So it was just a competitive thing more than anything. Do I think he was a snitch because he wrote that book? No, because nobody got indicted or went to jail because of that book. He's telling about stuff that's already said and done, and it's in the ground. They can't go prosecute people over that book. And that was the case, Nori be locked up. Oh, that was like one of his second single off that album. We ride here. We ain't going anywhere. We ride here. Bring the noise. I used to sing that every time I'm playing Madden, whooping my boy. Bring that. We ride here. He didn't punk Jay in no studio. He ran into Jay at Justin's. That's a restaurant. He was not gonna punk Jay. Not like that. But that day, Jay got caught off his square. Jay Jay was caught off his square for real. And it was all by accident. They didn't come there looking for Jay. They was coming to get some food. And they was coming to meet somebody else and talk business. So Jay was in there talking business with somebody else and just had to turn around and Prodigy's like right there. And the only way that Jay could go is through them. Like if he tried, the only way or jump out of the window. That wasn't gonna happen. So Jay had to think quick, and the only thing he could do was to say, grab P and go, it's just rap, B. It's just rap. It ain't nothing, it's nothing serious. It's just rap. Like, please don't hurt me. Please don't do this here. I just wish X didn't have his habits didn't come to destroy him. You know, I just wish his habits didn't get in the way because once he got caught into his habits, it became harder and harder to bring him back from the rails. L Joker is you don't really beat that. You know what I'm saying? This wasn't a Demi Lovato situation. You know, yeah, I've heard the Cradle to the Ground. I mean, Cradle to the Grave soundtrack. If X really cared about movies, X had a movie deal that paid him millions. No, no rapper was getting these type of deals, but DMX. DMX was getting movie deals on top of movie deals. Belly was made on the strength of DMX, not Nas. Let me tell you that right now. DMX ended up doing it. Oh yeah, that dum 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 dum. Talking about some JD left Jay Z for Dolo. DMX is officially deceased, unfortunately. Yeah, that's right, Ozzy. I don't know no Guyana. Who is Guyana? I don't know no Kiana. Well, she know you. If you had 24 hours to live, just think, where would you go? What would you do? Yeah, he passed away yesterday. I had a dream about him last night. Yeah, that's the initial response. People be mad. They be like, man, ain't there somebody around him that love this dude, man? How y'all let him do this? But everybody's responsible for their own life. Yeah, I had a dream about DMX yesterday. It was crazy. He was fighting with people in the streets. We was outside of a rap concert, and then it turned into a boxing fight where my cousin was doggone training to be a fighter, and DMX was on there, and he was on TV fighting people in the streets. It was the craziest thing ever. DMX had a verse on that "Touch It" remix. That's funny. I don't even remember that. BET is cloud chasing. Of course they are. Oh, real. The information is too high. They have 3, 9, and 25. Oh, there was a couple of them. Oh yeah, why not throw COVID on the man? Yeah, there it is. He's no longer here no more. Let's just throw COVID on it. Let's just smear some COVID on it. Yeah. Yeah, it's COVID. Yeah, it's COVID. Just call it COVID. All right, Burundi, man. Take care. I gotta still get this place together, man. It still look like a wreck. What was y'all favorite memory of X? I know all y'all got different moments. What was y'all like favorite moment of DMX? That's why I just chilled out and zoned out here. So I'm gonna give y'all a whole hour. I don't need a maid. I just moved in. With the maid gonna unpack my stuff for me? Seeing them live, Belly. John, I want to say that's like one of my favorite memories of him too. Is doing that whole tour, which was the Hard Knock Life or the Rockefeller Rough Rider tour that went on in like '98. They had Onyx. They had Onyx on there. Woodstock '99. Yeah, Woodstock '99. X tore down. The Tim Westwood interview. When they kidnapped Rockefeller backstage. DMX and Aaliyah's music video. Him singing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. That scene with him and Art. Now him and Art gone. Oh, everybody scared been into my house. I'm rough as Dundee, the real Jamaican Dundee. I'm murder for fun. Oh, everybody scared been into my house. Man, I'm sorry. Sorry, I just want to get on. His prayer on the Breakfast Club. Survival of the illest. There you go, Kareem. There you go. People forget about that. They remember that Rockefeller tour. They don't remember Survival of the illest. Way to go. Bring that up. I was sitting here thinking about it. Well, that's the one that had Onyx. In the middle of Sunset Boulevard with no security. Him turning into Reverend Earl. Yeah. Now let's talk about some things you probably never knew about DMX or never knew that happened. DMX did basically his entire album with the Great Depression from the city of Chicago. I'm telling you, when he was making that album, he was out here the whole time, hanging out in some of the crack houses, places that you wouldn't even imagine a multi-platinum artist would be doing. Okay? He was hanging around with Kato and them people. Kato was a big time heavy hitter in the game. You know, DMX was walking around in neighborhoods, not even really riding. He was all over the city. He was in the Latin King quarters. He was in downtown, where the unbearable would go. But what he did when he came up here to see R. Kelly, to record a song with R. Kelly, though, he actually, and R. Kelly had him waiting, and he was out here chilling with his mans. They had all these kids waiting in line for something. X said, "Why are these kids out here? It's cold as hell." X like, "Man, they got all these kids outside and it's cold." And he's like, "Man, the place ain't gonna let people in to a certain period of time." He's like, "I just saw a man and his woman and his kid go in. Because they look like me, they can't get in." X is like, "Y'all gonna let these kids up in here." X went off. "Y'all gonna let these kids up in here." He's like, "Let me go talk to the manager." Man, they let them kids up in there, man. Yeah, they had them all waiting on the side. They were supposed to be going somewhere. X just like, "Why are they outside? It's cold." Let them kids in. And then the manager was a black guy, man. "You don't do your people like that." Dude, he was lecturing the manager for not letting him in there. You don't do that to your people, man. You see these kids out here, they cold. She don't even got no gloves. You see her hands all up in here like this, man? They just want to come up in here and get warm. Like, they gotta have adult supervision. X had a backpack. X went in that backpack, took out money, gave it to the kids, gave it to all of them. And it was like, they got money. Now they coming in here. And when they open up, then y'all sit down, y'all eat. Y'all good. Oh no, man. They had about 7 to 8 different people that came by to show love and respect. No, not at this time, man. They loved X, man. So that's when he got mad at R. Kelly. R. Kelly had him waiting, and he dropped the verse, and he put up he shouted Al Qaeda on the record, and R. Kelly didn't want to use the record because he didn't say R. Kelly name, but he shouted out his homeboy and was like, okay, but you ain't say R. Kelly's name on it. Normally when you do a song with somebody, you got to shout their name out on. He's like, man, what? Man, this dude ain't even here, man. I'm dropping my verse. He's somewhere in the room. Ja could tell you at the time, X did something crazy, man. X got into a fight with a cab driver. That was the craziest thing ever, man. He jumped out of the cab. They had this dude, Def Jam people was on 24-hour alert. He got in a fight with a cab driver. They was like, why is DMX in a cab when he got a limo that would take him anywhere he wants to go? He got a car. Like, Def Jam provided transportation for you. Now you could go anywhere in the world. X want to go in a cab. So X jumped in the cab and then he didn't want to pay. X got about $1,000 in his pocket, another probably grand in another pocket. He refused to pay the cab driver $48. Oh, they got in a fight because the cab driver was like amazed that he had DMX in the cab. Then once he tried to run, the door that they had where they were at was not like the New York doors where you could just open the door and jump out the cab and be gone. This one was kind of tough. So when he opened it, it didn't just fly open. It was, and the guy was, hey, no, leave, no leave, no X, no leave. So he jumps out the cab and run over there, and him and X are rumbling in the street. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, hit the like button for X. You gotta hit the like button for X, baby. Oh, he knocked Chris Lighty out. Well, he didn't knock him out. X cracked him hard as he could. Soon as he saw him, but it was the wrong Lighty. It was Chris Lighty's brother who said that stuff about X. And he thought it was, he heard Chris Lighty, all he knew was Lighty. So he just fired off on Chris Lighty. Man, that caused so much problems, man. X had to pay a lot of money for that. Man, that was crazy, man. He knocked Chris Lighty out. I mean, straight sucker punch. I mean, walk straight up to him, man, and whack out. Poof, dropped him. Yeah, that was the behind the scenes thing that happened with the like the real core of the problem with the Benzinos, Made Men, and Rough Riders. When one of DMX chicks was getting hit on the tour bus that he wasn't supposed to be on, banging one of X chicks, one of his side chicks on the bus, one of Benzino's dudes. And the Def Jam guy that came in there that like cool with X was on the bus and it's like, hey, you can't be doing that. That's X's chick. Didn't do it. End up Rough Rider guy ended up beating him up pretty bad. So they got kicked off the buses. So they had to fly out to the tour. They didn't get kicked off the tour, but he could no longer be on the buses. Oh yeah, the whole thing got squashed because it really wasn't a beef with them. It was, but they had that energy, built up. You got X people who nuts, then Yonka dudes who crazy, and you got them Boston dudes, the mean streets of Boston. You got them dudes that's crazy, that's rolling with business. They just know they're not business savvy. They just know rumble. They just know there's something popping off their end. So you got two sides that's like that. If something pop off, everybody jumping in. They ready to rumble. This is what they do. This they element. They don't care how much money they didn't blew, how much money they didn't messed up in the streets for everybody. Yeah, until I saw Made Men, I wouldn't have known Boston had anybody black there. Right, and that's what I'm saying. Though we need to stop this cycle that we on, man. I want to see all y'all on the Casino for Life Patreon today too, because we're gonna have something special for DMX on there that we can't say here. They won't allow it. So all y'all should be on the Casino for Life Patreon. Yeah, that's another joint people don't play. Crime Story on DMX's joint. We're gonna go into a lot of these different things, but all I can say is don't be so sold on everything that you're reading right now. Nah, they don't. No, they don't. Believe me, they don't. Shouts out to New Zealand. What's up? Thank you. Yes, X gave away a bracelet that he had just bought. It was like a dog collar bracelet with diamonds and everything, and just gave it to some kid. Took it off and gave it to him. Swear to God. Now I don't know how that kid was gonna get that appraised. Took that to the wrong place and got ripped off. They would give because when you go to stores, everybody wanted DMX. Like DMX didn't even capitalize on all the money he could have made. X didn't care about all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? X didn't really care. X just like make the music, give him his money, he good. You know, and he was doing movies good. They want to pay me, give me some money, cool, I'm good. But he was never the type of guy that was like on that type of level. You know what I'm saying? Like he was never the guy that was like so into himself. He could have maximized so much. If that was Jay, if Jay was selling records like DMX, and for the record, I want you guys to know Jay-Z never sold records like DMX. Never sold like DMX. They act like Jay was on top of the game, the rap game was all Jay-Z's. No, it wasn't. It was X. X. To the point where Jay-Z was trying to act like he was Rough Riders. Dame Dash should tell you too. They never had the streets. They looked at Jay, the streets wasn't messing with Jay. That's why they put him with DMX to try to make a tough album. And that's what they did. The Streets is Watching to try to show them like, yo, we the streets too. Like, but they never looked at Jay like that because he didn't come in like a street guy. He came in suits and like he's a mobster, smooth, laid back guy. So they didn't have the street report. They had Can't Knock the Hustle and, as they first song. So they didn't have that street appeal. And he had Sunshine as his first single off the other one, and Who You With and all that. So it was all this Playboy rap. They weren't streets. They weren't rugged. So Dame was like, we got to make Jay rugged. We need Jay to be rugged. We need let them people know that we street. Like we rep in the streets. And they didn't have that. But we're going to go into all of this on the Patreon. Believe me, on the Casino for Life Patreon, we are going into this. All right. So you're going to know it all. You're going to know every detail. We're going to get into it in full detail with things that we're not allowed to say here. So thanks again. Hope you guys all hit the like button for X. The majority of you did. I appreciate that. That show that you guys loved X. You remember X. And play his music, not just today, on any other days. Remember the joy and the energy he brought through his music. Hopefully, if anybody's out there struggling with any type of addiction and things of that nature, that something like this can show you that this is the road. Mac Miller, all the rest of them, this is the end of it. This is where it leads you. There are too many people out here harming people. just to try to get an extra dollar. So on that note, be safe. God bless you all. I'm out.